Welcome back to another episode of Third and Three with Coach Roger Holmes. I'm Jason Holcomb, Director of Public Relations, and it's hard to believe, Coach, but we're here. We're in the postseason. We're in the second season. It's time for make or break football, and this week we're going to get probably one of the biggest tests of our entire season. But before we talk about Harlem, let's talk about last week. Last week was a wild football game. We go down, we come back, and like the play to me that still seems to sum up that night was the fumbled snap that Zion picked up and ran to the edge and got the touchdown. It could have ended horribly, but it ended up ending wonderfully. What did you guys have to do as a team and as a staff to adjust so that we could be victorious last week?
Well, I think our kids grew up a lot the other night, Jason, in the fact that things didn't start out well. We got down 14-0, and we kept our composure, kept playing. We get back in at 14-7 and look like we're going to tie it up, and we have a fumble, and they recover it. They turn around, they try to go for the juggler, and Rodriguez Martin, who's playing free safety, makes a big pass interception and makes a good return. Next thing you know, we go back in, it's 14-14 at the half. We were able to make a couple of adjustments on the offensive side of the ball, and Coach Rusty Waters and his defensive staff had a phenomenal defensive game plan and did a great job for us. And at the end of the night, we shut them out in the second half. We were able to score a couple of times, got a huge win, 26-14 over, an always good, solid Washington County football team. And it allowed us to be number 2 in the region and host a home playoff game this week against the Harlem Bulldogs.
We're always excited to be able to host a playoff game in Shamrock Bowl. There's been so many historic and memorable games played in this stadium. I was talking with somebody about it yesterday. When I hear Harlem, it reminds me back to 1994, when we were a AAA ball club, we were playing a lot of those teams up that way. That was the familiar territory. This year's Harlem team is unfamiliar to us in that we've only seen stats and film, and they look pretty strong across the board, top to bottom. Tell me what we have to do to slow down that offense and also to limit their ability to get to our quarterback.
Well, I think the number one thing for them is they have 2 running backs combined. They're averaging 10 yards a carry for the season. Both of them are averaging 10. So for us to get off and have a good night, our defensive linebacker play's got to be extremely good. They use a ton of formations to try to get you confused with some shifts and trades and run the football at you. So that's what they want to do. They want to be a running football team. When you've got 2 running backs that are averaging 10 yards each
Right.
over a course of a whole season, you got your work cut out for you. For us offensively, I think we've got to be able to establish some perimeter run game. I think that's important in the beginning because they're aggressive inside. They slant their front around and do a lot of things. But if we can find a way to establish some perimeter runs, I think that'll help us out offensively. And as the playoffs go, kicking game becomes a major, major factor as playoffs get involved. It always has. And any big games that I've been involved in postseason play, kicking game has always been a major factor. So we've got to play well in that stage. And, when you mention Harlem, their folks are on fire. They're 7-3. It's the first time in 16 years.
Wow.
They have been to a state playoff. When I called them yesterday about pre-sale student tickets, man, they got so excited and they said, Coach, we think we're going to bring a really good crowd. Our folks are traveling well. So not only are we going to have a chore on our hands Friday night, the Irish faithful are going to be challenged Friday night.
Say, we need that Irish nation to come out and big support and fill up these
in the
home
Shamrock
stands.
Bowl, there's no doubt.
Well, Coach, we want to make sure that these kids are celebrated and lifted up so they can play their best. We want everybody to come out this Friday at 7:30. Kickoff is going to be right here, and it's supposed to be gorgeous weather. It's going to be cool, crisp, fall weather for a change. And we want to make sure that some of the guys that have been playing well these last couple of weeks get some recognition. Coach, who are a couple guys that have played well for us in Waco, and you're expecting to play well hopefully this week?
Rodriguez Martin had a big night the other night. He had 8 tackles on defense. He had a pass interception. He had a touchdown pass. He ran for 70-something yards. He had a tremendous night, maybe his best night all around for the season. And, I think when you look around, statistically might not have been his best night, but Stephen Linton is stepped in and did a great job for us at tight end and did a very credible job at defensive end.
Well, we want to make sure that this season doesn't end this Friday. We want this second season to last as long as it can, hopefully 5 weeks. If
That'd be
memory
awesome.
serves right, December 8th would be a great time to still be playing football. We hope that you guys will come out this week and support us. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything we do. Celebrate these young men for all that they do in their hard work, and hopefully we'll see you Friday. This has been 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.